Hello everyone. Today we start our lecture with the solar vehicles, right? So vehicles produces okay. Next is right. So vehicle produces air pollutions and noise pollutions every day and the night. So if these vehicles utilize solar energy instead of conventional fluid petrol, the nation will progress at faster rate as these conventional fuels are inadequate and are exported from the other countries. So first one we're talking about is a solar hybrid auto rickshaw. These vehicles like auto rickshaws can run successfully with the help of solar electric power and can save the environment by reducing the air pollution and the noise pollution by about 30%. So 30% is not less. It's a very good amount. Even 1% pollutions reduced due to any other resources, that is very helpful, right? So in such hybrid vehicles the speed limit helps to in avoid accidents to a great extent. Second one is a solar car. Now you see everyday news, right? The big and automobile industries can producing or inventing the solar cars, right? Like which is electric car, and the government gives some subsidies for that particular solar cars, which is very helpful to reduce air pollutions and the noise pollution, right? So solar car uses a clean solar energy by adopting which fuel scarcity and the pollution problems can be solved. Solar traffic control and the traffic signals, solar warning lamps, solar marine lamps, solar aircraft lamps, etc. This all can be made. So third one is a solar power train. So India's first solar power train will be running with a green initiative on Jodhpur division of North Western Railways. So all the coaches of the train would be lit from the power generated by the rooftop solar panels. So the demo train, which is being used for the trial run, has a 6 coaches, each fitted with a 12 solar panels capacity of 300 watts, sufficient for the light and fans inside of the coach, right? Next is a solar railway station. So a solar power plant of 1 megawatt capacity was set up at Katara stations in 2015, which can save 1 crore annually on electric bills. So this is the biggest rooftop solar power plant built in a Jammu and Kashmir by the Indian Railways. The saving of this money, which is approximately 1 crore, is a very huge amount, which can be saved by using the solar railway stations, right? So next is a solar boat. So Kerala government commissions India's first solar power boat for a greener tomorrow. So the solar boat runs with solar energy, which is more eco-friendly and cheaper and alternative to the diesel. So this boat has a 75 seats and is a 20-meter long, and it is equipped with two electric motors running with a lithium battery packs, which is charged by a solar module of 29 kilowatt power, right? So next is a solar powered rocket ship. So it is anticipated that the renewable space ships will make future deliveries to space stations and possibly turn our solar systems into expensive highway or even interworking residency, right? Now, next topic is housing. Towards the smart city mission, the aim is to promote cities that provides core infrastructure and give a decent quality of life to its citizens. So, the core infrastructure elements in a smart city would include adequate water supply, the sanitation, electricity, strong public transport, housing for an urban poor, IT connectivity, sustainable environment, health and education, good governance, safety and security of citizens. So housing for urban poor is very important need of urban India as the population increases rapidly in the urban areas. So the luxurious housing in urban areas is on the far side of the affordability of major population belongs to the middle income and the low income groups. So affordable housing is a vital to have social integration and elevating the urban poverty. So simultaneously, we should focus on a clean and sustainable environment while delivering the affordable housing. So the provision of housing for urban poor, which is sustainable in nature and should not create undue cost burden on the citizens. So smart solutions are very much needed to provide more and more affordable houses in future smart cities of India. So India is facing a vast growth in construction development. So as a sector growing rapidly, preserving the environment is the biggest challenge, and India Green Building Council (IGBC), which continuously works to provide tools that facilitate the adoption of green buildings practices in the India. So, with the cost of consideration, we incorporated only 5 credits from the IGBC new company rating system, which includes sustainable architects and design, site selection and planning, water conservation, energy efficiency, and the building materials and the resources. Right. So, what are the criteria for housing in the smart city? The first one is the sustainable architectures and the design. So, a housing project has to involve team members from multidisciplinary trades for effective decision making and enhanced building performance, starting from the conceptual stage to completion of the project. So, housing project should retain 20% of the existing topography or the landscape and without any disturbance, and should hand over to ULB for public use. The second one is the site selection and the planning. So all the local building bylaws should be followed in the housing project. Project should get completion certificate and environmental clearance certificate from the respective authority. Soil erosion controls measures should be taken before, during, and the post-construction activities on the project site. So site selection should be such that the basic amenities like hospital or clinic, schools, markets, banks, parks, playground are within walking distance of 1 to 2 kilometers. So this projects located such that it should within the walking distance or 1 kilometer from one of the nearest bus stops or any other public transport. Right. So next one is the water conservation. So effective rainwater harvesting enhances groundwater table and reduces municipal water demand. So housing projects should have on-site wastewater treatment plant to handle 100% of wastewater generated in the building as per guidelines and reuse treated water for gardening. So housing projects should demonstrate sub-metering system for municipal water line and treated water consumptions for better results. Next is energy efficiency. So on the site, renewable energy like solar energy is used for street lighting system, and from the solar energy source around 2% to the annual energy consumption should generated on the site. Next one is a building material and the resources. So housing project should have separate bins to collect dry waste and wet waste at all the floors and the common areas of the building. Use materials certified by IGBC which are recycled, and it costs at least 10% of total building cost. So these materials are manufactured locally within the minimum distance, which kept transportation costs low. So with the rising land and construction costs, large cities must identify ways to get more from the investment in affordable housing and to deliver housing faster to residents in need. So the application of innovative construction methods, the use of alternatives and sustainable materials, and the new planning and cost management systems represent solutions that could facilitate more affording housing. So smart cities seek innovative technologies and solutions to shorten project timelines, reduce cost, and promotes cleaner and more suitable industry to reduce the cost of the construction and the rehabilitation in dense urban areas and to make housing more affordable. So the solution and the technologies suited to achieve this goals could be among the others, which is offsite prefabrication, alternative building materials, building information modeling, virtual reality or augmented reality, and autonomous drones, resource accounting and material flow analysis, 3D printing, smart devices, and mobile-based solutions. So, what are the challenges of affording housing? The affording housing challenge is open to the public, private, social, and the academic sectors that are currently implementing innovative methods and solutions that contribute to making housing more affordable, inclusive, and efficient, right? So this includes the city governments and municipal agents, urban developers, entrepreneurs, startups, digital innovators, developers, research centers, universities, civic tax, civil society organizations, non-governmental organizations, cooperatives, uh, consortiums, and social activists, right? So the housing in cities SWOT analysis is what? So housing for low income group has been identified as an area of concern in a most almost every shortlisted smart city proposal through different cities have addressed the issue through varying the lenses and the approaches. So certain cities including Ahmedabad, Allahabad, Bengaluru, Dehradun, Indore, Muzaffarpur, Raipur, Panji, Patna, Rajkot, Ranchi, Sagar, Tirunelveli, Visakhapatnam have termed slums housing for EWS or LIG. So the illegal housing as a threat in their city's strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and the threats analysis. So a few other cities term housing for marginalized groups a weakness in their analysis. So Bilaspur identify growing real estate development and the availability of land for redevelopment in the city as an opportunity, and housing shortage for EWS and the middle class as a weakness in its SWOT analysis. So, Amravati's proposal identifies the challenge pertaining to cohesive social inclusion due to immigration as a weakness in its SWOT analysis. So, Bangalore has identified unchecked urban sprawl as a weakness and encouragement on water bodies and lakes, as well as growing population with no access to affordable housing and the basic amenities in the cities as a threat. So the cities of Chandigarh and Dharamshala termed their approach to housing provisioning as a strength, while the Chandigarh and claims to have already handed over housing units to half of the household it identified for rehabilitation. Only 0.5% of Dharamshala population is claimed to be houseless. So Bhopal's proportion noticed that 75% of the city's population belong to EWS or LIG, while Bengal reported EWS or LIG as accounted for 42% of its population. So Ahmedabad in its proposal reported 13% of all households in the city living in the substandard housing, while Karimnagar started that 29% of its population lives in a substandard housing without basic facilities, right?